Hey Monty, how's it going?
Who are the stowaways with you?
I've got Shawnee and Cabin this week.
How's the paddling, boys?
Great, you're the mussel guy, right?
Yeah, thanks for noticing.
Oh, come on, that's my joke.
That joke's been around a lot longer than you or I.
She was telling us you know a lot about these critters. Yeah, what are you doing out here today?
Why don't you park your boats and we'll take a look.
Mussels are a critical part of the ecosystem of Kentucky's waterways, and they are an important food source for many animals. Hi, I'm Judy Petersen, the Executive Director of Kentucky Waterways Alliance. We are proud to be a sponsor of the Center for Mollusk Conservation. Monte McGregor is the Director of the Center for Mollusk Conservation. The center performs research on mussels done nowhere else in the world.
What do they eat? Do they just chomp down on stuff?
Okay, so freshwater mussels, the way they eat is they basically pump water from the river into a tube, and then they sort the particles out inside the mussel shell. The mussels crawl around with a big foot, and they will burrow up. So a lot of times if you lay a mussel on the surface, foot will stick out and it'll start going like this. It'll inch its way down until you see about that much of it. And then a few minutes later the shell will open and you will see the siphons filtering and pumping the water. In fact, there's some of the most natural filter feeders we have in the rivers and streams today. And hundreds of these, thousands of these can live in riffles such as what you're seeing here. And they can remove things, stuff that can kill us. Mussels like to eat. So they eat bacteria, they eat algae, they also eat detritus, which is broken up pieces of leaves and trees and things that break down from the forest. And they're very, very good for the cleaning of the water.
In this time-lapse video, 2 identical tanks were prepared with the same amount of water containing sediment and algae, but the tank on the right has several large mussels in it. In the span of a little more than an hour, the mussels cleared the water by filtering it, just like mussels do every day in Kentucky waterways. Imagine the amount of water cleared by millions of mussels, and then imagine what would happen to the water quality if the mussels disappeared from Kentucky's streams.
So how many endangered mussels are there in Kentucky?
Well, that's a good question. We have over 100 species of freshwater mussels in Kentucky. There's only about 12 species of mussels in all of Europe, less than 100 species in all of Africa. But yet in Kentucky we have over 100 species. The problem is we have 27 of those that are federally listed as endangered or threatened. That means they're this close to being extinct. One of the reasons for that is some of the water quality pollution that we've had to experience over the last 150 years. People come in, they tear down the forest, they build houses and cities, they build factories, they mine coal, they log the forest. Agriculture is a big thing. You take a forest and turn it into a field with crops. That means you add fertilizer, nutrients to the river. These are all unnatural things that the mussels had to experience over the last 150 years, and because of that, we've had more mussels listed as endangered in the last few years than any other species group. In fact, they are the most endangered group of animals we have on the planet.
Why don't you tell them a little bit more about what a host fish is?
Sure, no problem. These freshwater mussels, the way they reproduce is the males and females are separate, and the female has these tiny larvae, similar like a caterpillar of a butterfly, and these larvae, before they can pupate like a butterfly would, it has to be connected to a host fish. It has a little fishy-like lure that sticks it out into the water and wiggles it. And in this particular mussel, it's looking for a largemouth bass or some other kind of bass as a host. So the bass will come along, see the little lure, strike it trying to eat it. The mussel will release thousands of larvae sometimes and try to get them onto the gills. And she just, a random chance, she'll shoot them out. If they attach to the gills, it lives its life as a parasite on the gills or the fins of the fish for a couple, 3 weeks. It'll drop off onto the stream bottom and start its life as a tiny mussel.
We have an amazing resource in Frankfurt called the Center for Mollusk Conservation.
What I have behind me is a set of aquariums specially designed for doing aquatic research. What we do here is experiments to test the particular fish and mussel combinations. So here we have some largemouth bass that are with plain pocketbook mussel and we have actually artificially loaded the mussels onto the gills, allowing them to come off naturally into the tanks so we can raise these animals. A good example of what we can do with these particular tanks in our center is, for instance, we've been working with raising the pink mucket over the last few years, and we've developed the technology to the point where we have now over 30,000 to put out in the wild in 2016. What this means for us is over the last 20 years there's maybe been 20 animals found in Kentucky, and now we're going to be able to put several thousand out at over 25 to 30 sites in the state of Kentucky. So this is one of the largest restoration projects for an endangered mussel. It's made possible because we can start them in these controlled environments, control the food, the diet, the water, and allow them to survive at a higher rate so we can put them out when their survival in the wild is higher as well. And these are the size animals that we want to release in the wild. These are more what we call a stockable size. We're able to put a physical tag on these, and then next year we'll be able to go back and actually find the individual animals so we know that these are the animals that we put out. This is the tan riffle shell. This species is only found in the upper Cumberland River, but this is a very rare animal, only one place left on Earth, and we have more animals here in this tank than there are in the wild. I'm looking at some juvenile mussels that are about a day old, but these mussels here actually are coming out of an incubator. These animals were raised without the host fish, and we did that by using a nutrient solution that's based on rabbit blood. We take rabbit serum, add a few other chemicals and compounds into the solution. We take the mussel larvae out of the adult females, put those into the petri dish, and then about 2 or 3 weeks later we'll have juvenile mussels that haven't seen their host fish yet. When we started in 2004, there were about 19 species that had been transformed without a host fish. We have since added about 40 species to that list here at the center.
Kentucky Waterways Alliance works every day to protect our rivers, streams, and lakes. Are you a member? Clean water is important. Make an investment by joining or donating to Kentucky Waterways Alliance today. Visit our website for more information, and thank you.
Thanks for showing us all these cool mussels.
No problem, guys. Come back anytime.
Hey, I just found a really big mussel. Hey, that's all I get?
It's funny every time you say it.
Just looking for a little respect here.